I guess Tamar got good and tired of all the false rumors that's coming out. Krishan Rock saying that she didn't hit James. James saying that, yes, she did pop me in the mouth. And everybody else taking sides and running with the narrative. So now Tamar said enough is enough. So she put out a video chronicling the event on that particular night. She said she came out to speak on it because Tony's not going to say anything, and somebody's got to clear the air with what happened. And since it was her event, I would imagine she would be the one to clear the air, because Miss Tony Braxton don't get involved in this type of mess.
Because Tony's not going to say nothing. And the last time somebody said something about me, everybody was like, y'all defend yourself, but today is the day. It is D-Day. So we're going to finally talk about it. So let's talk about it. So this video today was leaked from my dressing room.
So since the dressing room is such a personal and private space, somebody leaked the video. Tamar said it was James' people who leaked the video, and I'm wondering to myself, I said, you know what? It could have been her people too. Some people are not as loyal to you as you think. And she is claiming that it was James' people who leaked it, but I'm saying it could have been her people as well.
Which usually I have no one in my dressing room before a show when it's time to break. It's just, my immediate staff, right? So when Krishan walked in, the reason why my face looked like what is because, first of all, who is it? And why wasn't nobody stopped at the door? 2, Tony and Krishan did not know who each other was, all right? So Tony was like, well, who is this person coming in between me and my sister? Me and Tony both, when it's time to pray, we in our dressing room, don't nobody come and interrupt, period. That's just something that we do. That's actually something that I learned from her, okay?
So everything is sounding okay so far, except when she says nobody interrupts when me and my sister and the staff is praying. But here's the thing. You invited Krishan. She's a guest. You do not exclude your guest from prayer. Being a good Christian that you are, Miss Tamar, you do not exclude your guests. You include them in your prayer session. So Krishan was correct when she walked in to pray, because we know she's a praying woman. She may have her faults and she may be hot-headed and she may be a lot of things, but I do know she's a praying woman. And if there's praying going on, if there is a room with folks gathered praying, she's going to want to be a part of it. So I'm going to give her a pass on that one, and I'm going to fault Tamar for not including her into her praying session.
So, first of all, my sister has lupus, an autoimmune disorder, okay? If I get sick, if you get sick, it's no big deal. If she gets sick, she go to the hospital. So what she not going to do is touch a stranger's hand.
So in the above photo, we see Krishan reaching out her left hand to link hands with Tony, but Tony has her hands to herself. So again, Tamar is making good points, but I feel if Tony has got lupus, and we know she have lupus affects her heart. If she gets sick, it's straight to her heart. That disease flares up, and then she's got to go to the hospital for treatment, because that's a death sentence, and Tony's very careful not to be touching people, which I understand. She could have explained that to Krishan. I said, listen, I know you're trying to do the link in prayer, because when you're praying, you link hands. Krishan was reaching for Tony's hands, and Tony was not linking. So I'm sure she felt a kind of way. Not everyone is aware how lupus affects Tony Braxton. For everybody, it affects different parts of the body, different organs. For Tony Braxton, it's her heart. I felt as though she could have stopped, she could have opened her eyes, and she could have said, I'm not going to link with you, Krishan, because I have lupus and I don't hold hands with anybody, not even my own family I hold hands with, and continue the prayer. It's a small thing to do to save someone's feelings, because that's what it's all about, folks. We all got to look out for each other in how we treat each other. That's what it's all about. But I felt as though Tony dropped the ball in that instance, as well as Tamar for opening her mouth saying that her sister got lupus. This is why she didn't link hands. Your sister got lupus, yes, but you don't hurt people's feelings in the process of you being on your healing journey. Tony could have said, Krishan, I don't link hands, I don't even do it with my own family because I have lupus and I have to be very careful not to have any flare-ups. The slightest infection, I can get a flare-up. So I'm very careful. That is not a hard thing to do. And it would not have been out of the way. It would have been a quick word and then they could have continued their prayer. But to have this girl come out there, you invite this young woman, and we know she's very fragile for everything that's going on in her personal life with Blueface. And you don't want her to feel worse than she already feels. If that was done to me, I would have felt ostracized, as though everybody didn't want to have me around. So I think if you look at the situation in its totality, with Tony not linking hands deliberately with Krishan Rock, Tamar looking at her like if she's from Mars when she walked in there to pray with them. And then when they got on stage, one of the backup singers didn't want her to touch her and was kind of pushing her hands away from her. Then James probably talked out of pocket behind the scenes to her in the dressing room. He probably said one little thing that got under her last nerve. And plus, don't forget that the music wasn't right. She talked to the DJ as to what music she was going to sing, she says, and then they didn't even have her sing. So all of that in its totality might have caused her to be on the defense and to attack James by punching him in the face when he talked out of the pocket. I'm sure she didn't just punch him for no reason, just out of the blue. She just looked at him and punched him. There must have been words back and forth. She didn't like what he said and she punched him, but then she denied it. The reason why she denied it, I'm not making excuses for her. I'm just trying to understand the action. The reason why she denied it, I believe, is because she knew that James might file a lawsuit. And you don't admit that you did something if you know a lawsuit is coming. You have to let the preponderance of the evidence prove you guilty. And so she denied it, rightfully so. You deny it, and then they've got to prove that you did it. And that's when you say, okay, all right, I did it. I give up. I confess. But you don't confess before they prove it. Because if she had said, yes, I did it, then it was a done deal. Although she knew she did it, she could not admit it because she knew this might end up in the court. So because she reached out her hands to Tony to link, Tony didn't link. By the time they got on stage, everybody was ticked off with Krishan. I guess she was loud. They didn't like the loudness. They didn't like the disruption of their otherwise peaceful beginning before Tamar would do a concert. They didn't like anything, any energy that Krishan had coming, and so they all had attitudes with her. Even the guy who organized it said there was no way she was going to sing. We saw where one of the backup singers were pushing her away off of her as she was trying to just touch the woman, just a little touch. Tony did the same thing by not, holding hands, and we understand why Tony did it. But everybody had an attitude, it seemed like, with Krishan. And so by the time she and James got to that conversation, whatever was said, she just punched him because I believe she was reacting. That was a reactionary punch out of frustration for how she was being treated. Then she couldn't even sing any songs. Tamar did not allow her to sing one song. Isn't that why you invite a singer on? So they can maybe chime in. You can do a duet. Maybe she would do a solo. That's why you would invite a singer to your concert. They're not there to watch you sing and be a wallflower. They could be doing better things at home. Like Krishan said, she could have been taking care of her son. But in any event, let's continue with the video and listen to what else Tamar have to say. They didn't want me in their company, although I was invited. Even on stage, we saw where Krishan was trying to touch one of the singers, Tamar's singers on stage, just to, when you touch people, to affirm what you are saying or they're saying, and you're trying to make that a connection. That woman was pulling her body away from Krishan, like if she didn't even want her to touch her. So apparently they all had attitudes that night with Krishan. But when you invite someone and you have a guest, whether it's in your home or on stage, there's a protocol in how you treat them. And I felt as though Tamar was not a good hostess that night. But let's continue to hear what else Tamar have to say.
Embrace a stranger. She don't know Krishan from Adam. Okay? And so when she walked in, it kind of startled everybody. Let's just address that then, okay? You see that? And at the end, Tony patted her on the shoulder. Okay. And actually that was the first time that I met Krishan when she walked in the door. Yeah, that's why I turned around and we actually had so much fun tonight, Lord God, and bring us back to change things to our family. Amen. Jesus' name. So, let's move on to the next subject. Y'all is good, y'all. Won't he do it? He's able. So, this is the picture in the middle of my show when they was introduced to each other. And introduced to each other. We started talking about Baltimore. We started talking about, coming from a whole bunch of siblings. And everything was all fine and dandy. Let me tell you something. Toni Braxton don't stay for nobody's concert. She don't stay backstage. She sings and she leaves, not even hers. She stayed most of the time. We had a blast. It was cool. That's Billy Woodruff over here beside Toni. That's Toni's best friend. Everything was great. Everybody was happy. No beef. No drama. Okay? Now let's move on to the next slide because today is D-Day. Since people want to sell videos, people want to, just put everybody on blast and have people come up with their own stories. Today is the day of the real story. So let's move on. All right. It's right here. It's right after James get busted in the face. I don't want to bow back. Okay? James still in my dressing room. So do you want to, is you going to press charges and you just... Yes. I'm pressing charges. I didn't do nothing to that girl. Oh! You can't leave to the police. Oh! Is that the thing we made up? Oh! Now see, now, James is my best friend and I would never ever do him. Look at my baby lip. I would never ever do him like that. But at this point, it has gotten above and beyond out of...
So looking at these pictures, I can see where the left lip is swollen on the top left lip, and it appears as if his front tooth, the left front tooth, is cracked on the bottom a little bit. And a couple of people are asking James if he's going to file charges, and he keeps saying, I don't know that girl. I think he was affirming that he was going to press charges, but he didn't know her for her to punch him in the face like that.
Nobody is lying on nobody. Nobody wants to talk about that because the legendary Toni Braxton. Okay. Nobody is okay. Come on, nobody's trying to get on Zeus. Well, that was a good one. If I wanted to show, I would have one. If we wanted to show. Yes. So do you want to press charges and you just... Yes.
So everybody, including myself, have been asking Tamar to show the evidence and James to show the proof that he was hurt, he was injured, his tooth was cracked. Well, the proof is in the pudding. They showed it. He was at the dentist. He got it fixed, I believe, right away. And so now, I don't know if he's going to pursue a lawsuit against Krishan Rock. She's got her cup full of problems. Her cup runneth over. So we're going to see in 2024 if he goes ahead and file this lawsuit. So I think it might be in Krishan's best interest to settle this out of court and not even let James go to court with it, because she's got warrants already. And if she does anything physically violent, any type of violence, she might end up in jail. And then who's going to take care of her son? So Tamar said, the reason why I'm repeating it is because it's a little mumble and jumble from all the talking. She said, nobody's trying to get on Zeus. She's not trying to get on Zeus because she knows the owner. If that was the case, she would have been and could have been on that show.
So do you want to press charges and you just... Yes.
Tamar closed off that video by saying busted. Indeed, busted Krishan. Krishan was, I guess, saying that she was innocent. She didn't hit James, but the proof is in the pudding because that video was taken the same night in the dressing room. So this is what I have to say to Krishan Rock. You got a temper? Maybe you need to go into anger therapy. because you're going to hit the wrong person and they might do you in, or you might end up going to jail. This is not good. This is a young woman who's got a lot of promise, a lot of, bright future. She's got dreams, she's got hopes and aspirations. She's working towards those dreams. But you can't let your anger get in the way. And then she just gave birth to this baby. And she's got to change her ways. You can't be beating up on everybody the way you beat up on Blue, because we know it's not one-sided. He's not the only one that's laying hands on Krishan. She beats up on him also. She busts him in the head, and a lot of violence on that man. And then he retaliates, but then he looks like a punk for beating up on a woman. What he should do is file charges. On that note, guys, I'm over now. Don't forget to hit the like bell before you leave the page, and subscribe if you haven't done so as yet. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.